Welcome to the Fishbowl Radio, everybody. My name is Chief here, and joining me today is Jalen. And guess what? We got a special guest here on the Fishbowl Radio. We got Gradney. Welcome to the show,
Hello.
Gradney. How you doing today, buddy?
All right, how y'all doing today?
How's it going, Jalen?
It's going good, Chief. Another week of disappointment from the Cajuns, but we're going to get into it.
Yeah, we're going to get right into that real quick here. So, for the first time ever on the Fishbowl, we actually had an idea here. We're going to do this every single week. We're going to have a little bit of a Raging Cajun word of the week. And Jalen came up with a very interesting word for sure to describe what happened here. I don't even know, I was shocked when Jalen even used it. So go check out our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages if you would like to watch the video. Several hundreds of people have already. So we hope to get several hundred more watch that video there too as well. But without further ado, let's start talking about the Cajuns here real quick. We'll start with you, Jalen, here first real quick here. What you think about the Cajuns this past Saturday at Cajun Field?
I think the offense struggled throughout the whole game. I think a fake punt really helped the Cajuns get back into it. The defense actually played pretty well. Like I said, with our word of the week, which, like I said, you could tune in on social media to figure out what that was. But the defense, less than 30 points this game. They didn't give up a point in the second half. The defense played one of their best games all year, but the offense really struggled. But the good thing is Chris only had one turnover. He's committing less turnovers every game, so it's looking great on that end. But the Cajuns really should have won this game. They kind of beat themselves in this one.
What you saw, Gradney? What some things that you saw this past Saturday at Cajun Field against the Cajuns? Against Georgia State?
One, I think that interception at the last drive kind of killed them. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what he was looking at. There was triple coverage. Why did he just run? I mean, he didn't really have to throw that pass. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I feel like he could have took off running, probably scored the touchdown, or even kicked the field goal, send the game into overtime. Play it safe.
Yeah, that was okay. I'm glad that Gradney did bring up the throw there. So that ball, I've managed to watch a low angle of it, video wise of it on the field, and I could see what he was trying to do there. But that ball's got to be thrown to where it's basically out of bounds. If you're gonna throw that kind of pass to where only that receiver, the defender has to make an immaculate catch to pick the ball off at that point there. You have to throw that ball to where it's basically out of bounds, to where your receiver might be able to get a foot down because that's all you need in college. It's not professional. So that ball's got to be thrown out the right way. But you cannot blame Chris for the Cajuns losing the game in the last play of the game because the Cajuns started off slow on offense, okay? It was looking really bad for the first half of that football game here. The Cajuns honestly should have won this game. They shot themselves in the foot a lot of times during the first half of the football game. So if you look at it here, remember Almendarez, he missed a field goal in the first half. And that's 3 points off the board there. Mm-hmm. So if this is small things here, if you can manage to iron out the small things you have in a football game, whenever you get to that point here, this game's tied. When that last drive is going on, you don't even need to worry about trying to even get a touchdown at that point. You could have did what Coach Desimo did, just line up for a field goal and win the football game. If that field goal was made in the first half. Now, this is why you have to try to score something every time you get down the field here. But unfortunately, missed the field goal, got in that situation there toward the end. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where the game is on the line toward the end of the game anyway to begin with. So the Cajuns this year have a trend going on with them. It's either one or two things. They either start off hot in the first half and they kind of sizzle out toward the second half of the game, or they start off ice cold Arctic breeze first half and they get scorching hot toward the second half of the game. The Cajuns have yet to play a complete game where they are just dominating from the first snap of the football game to the last snap. that is something that they're gonna have to work on. That is playing 4 quarters and not just halves, because you have to play 4 quarters to be a consistent winning ball team. So, guys, I'm wondering this here. What you think how do the Cajuns beat South Alabama, Jalen? What is some things that they can do out there that they can beat the Jaguars of South Alabama?
I think it's kind of what you reiterate. Excuse me, reiterate. I can't even talk. It's talking about what the Cajuns did at the beginning of the game against Georgia State. They can't do, which is not punt the ball in the first 3 or 4 possessions. I think the Cajuns have to start out strong against South Al, and they need to keep playing good defensively like they did. Now, I'm not gonna say the defense played perfect in the first half, but they didn't give up a single point in the second half. And then and late in that second quarter, when Georgia State had their backup quarterback in, when Granger had got hit and got taken out, he fumbled the ball. The Cajuns recovered. A couple plays later, it was I think I want to say it was a touchdown. A couple plays later, which started the Cajuns' momentum, and it could have lasted throughout the whole game until, like Gradney said, the last play with the Zeon Chris pick. I think the Cajuns need to start off strong and play a complete game, and I think they need to start on the road against South Al, because like we iterated last week, Chief, at South Al, at Arkansas State, short week against Southern Miss, then at Troy. So the Cajuns, they need to that's what they need to do to try to pull out this win.
Rodney, what you thinking?
I agree with Jalen. I think they need to play more of a complete football. As long as they minimize their turnovers and kind of take advantage of some of the opportunities that they get, I think they should be able to win.
Okay. So I think one thing about heading into Alabama that I was really concerned about with that game and everything else that's going on here, if you look at how South Alabama wins their games here, they are very proficient in running the football very well with the Webb, having 103 carries on the year with 578 yards and 12 touchdowns. And they have a quarterback in Bradley who's known for almost 1,800 yards. He's only got 5 picks on the year and 11 touchdowns. So he's got a good touchdown to interception ratio. They have a balanced offense, so you don't know what you're really going to get. You can't key in too much on the run, or you're going to get beat with the pass here. Right now, the line has South Alabama 10-point favorites in this game here at Hancock Whitney. It looks like it's going to be rain in the forecast is what they're calling for. Let me see here what it's got. Yeah, that looks like, yeah, that's rain. It's going to be raining during that game, so the running game is going to be more important. But I think that kind of helps the Cajuns if it's going to be raining, because they're able to. Cajuns are good at running the football. They have a good offensive line that is better at run blocking than they are pass blocking. I've noticed that in several games here. They're able to get a better jump and run block. The line to me is better at run blocking than they are pass blocking, because last week Georgia State was able to shoot the gaps and get pressure on Zeon Chris in the first half of the game. That didn't happen as much in the second half, but I mean, you get so far behind in games like that, it's really hard to come back and win. But they have to be able to. I would want, if I was the Cajuns, I would really put an emphasis on stopping the run of South Alabama, make them one-dimensional, make them pass the ball to beat you, because I think the Cajuns have a good enough secondary to hold South Alabama back. I think that's the weaker point of their offense, and I think that's something they can capitalize on, because the Cajuns are pretty good at taking the ball away on defense. So here comes this favorite part of the show here, Jalen. What happens on Saturday? Do the Cajuns go into Mobile and get the win? What you got?
I have the Cajuns winning. I think the game is going to be, I'm going to say 26-23. A field goal gives the Cajuns the win. They have to, and I'm going to say this again, they have to get this win against South Al on the road, because it's going to set up a gauntlet for them for the rest of the Sun Belt play throughout the season. So they have to go into South Al with a mindset of we have to win. And like Kendrick Gant said in his press conference, it's got to have a playoff mentality. So I think they'll have it when it comes on Saturday.
Randy, who you got in that game?
I got the Cajuns winning by a field goal. Basically, same thing, same as Jalen.
Okay. Well, I look like I'm gonna be the lone one on this one. I think they go to Mobile. I think they play hard. I think it'll be a very good game, but my heart wants the Cajuns to win, but my brain's telling me I'm gonna go with the Jaguars. I think South Alabama is just a little bit too much. They are my preseason pick to win the Sun Belt this year, and I think they'll get the job done against the Cajuns. I mean, that's something that you look at the standings right now. This is a must win, I think, for the Cajuns here, especially in the West here. You're 1-2. You're a game behind Troy, Texas State, and South Alabama here. You do have the head-to-head win against Texas State, which that's going to come pivotal here later on as we get further into it here. But Cajuns have to pick up a win against Alabama because that'll knock them 2-2. Cajuns will be 2-2, and you need Texas State to lose, which if you look at it here, Texas State is playing Troy. So this is a pivotal matchup for the Cajuns. This is going to set them up, like Jalen said, for the rest of the season here because I'm going to reiterate what Jalen said because he already repeated this before. But you have Arkansas State, Southern Miss, Troy, and ULM. So you beat South Alabama, you're going to get Arkansas State and Southern Miss. You have to win both those games. So, like, if they lose one more game, they're finished. Like, I think they have to win out the rest of the year. I just don't see, like, if they beat South Alabama, I don't see them beating Troy. I think they'll drop one of those games. That's why I was saying last week that I think the Georgia State game was very important because I wanted them to have a mulligan when they got down into the last 5 games because you probably could have dropped one. You would have been all right. But now you ruined that because you have to set yourself up. It's very hard to win 5 games in a row. It's hard enough to win games, period. And the Cajuns haven't done that under Coach Dez's tenure as head coach. They haven't won 5 games in a row. So we're gonna see what happens. That's one thing that we'll have to see here. For sure here. I'm gonna go. Let's see what the predictor says here on the Fishbowl here, predicted results. I think I know what it's going to go with because it usually picks them losing here. Let's see. Got them finishing 7-5 and 4-4 in the Sun Belt. So let's see what the other losses are. It's got them losing to South Alabama 28-23. It's got them winning Arkansas State and Southern Miss. And it's got them losing to Troy. It's got them beating ULM. I think they'll beat South Alabama or Troy. They're not going to win both of them, I don't think. That's the way realistic view of how I see things happening against them there. So without further ado, guys, let's pick some Sunbelt games, guys.
All right, lay it on me.
All right.
Let's get it.
So we actually have a Thursday game coming up this week here. Georgia State versus Georgia Southern. Jalen, who you got in that game?
As much as I want to go against the opponent that just beat us, I'm gonna go with Georgia State. I think they have all the momentum. They just won 2 straight. They just beat our Cajuns on the road. I think Georgia State is gonna take this one against Georgia Southern.
So the funny thing is this is at Georgia Southern. It's not at Georgia State. It's in Statesboro. In case you would change your pick. Does that change your pick?
No, I think they can go into Georgia Southern and still pull out the win. I think it's just a great.
Right.
They're a great team.
I know some people like the factor in home and away kind of thing, but Bradley, who you got in that game?
I got Georgia State.
You got Georgia State, man. It looks like y'all both wrong. Not so fast, my friends. Courtesy of Lee Corso. I'm gonna go with Georgia Southern. I think they defend their home turf and shock Georgia State, and they pick up the win against Georgia State. We already picked UL and South Alabama. Let's go to Southern Miss versus App State. Jalen, who you got in that game?
Oh, we're picking between 2 teams that's dead last in the West and the East. I mean, it's just the pick of struggling teams. I guess I'm gonna go with App State. I'm gonna go with App State in this one. I know that they are playing at home, so I'm gonna go with App State.
Rodney, who you got in that game?
I'm gonna go with Southern Miss for the upset.
Oh, Southern Miss. Okay. I was kind of expecting that, but me and Gratney have not been agreeing tonight at all so far. I'm gonna go with App State. I think they'll be able to handle Southern Miss in Man, that's just one way to look at it, man. That's just crazy. Southern Miss, I expect them to have a better year this year. And I don't know what happened. They're 1-6, they're 1-4 in the Sun Belt. I think they'll keep losing. I see a lot of problems with Southern Miss this year. Arkansas State versus ULM. Jalen, who you got in that game?
Uh, who am I going to go with in this? Arkansas State or ULM? I think I'm gonna go with ULM in this game, Chief. I'm gonna go with ULM. I think it's at ULM. I think they'll take this one.
Okay, so Radney, who wins in Malone Stadium on Saturday night? I mean Saturday,
I'm gonna go
not Saturday.
Arkansas because I don't like ULM.
Oh, okay. So yeah, several years ago, I have a very funny story about Malone Stadium. Uh, Mike Honcho, Juicy, we all went up there to Malone Stadium like several years ago. Like twice we did this. And so in 2014 when we went up there, the last time I ever ate at Orion's.
They had
That was the
Orions?
last time I ever ate at Orion's was in 2014, somewhere north of Alexandria up there. There was a Orion's, okay? Restaurant. That's the last time I ever set foot in Orion's restaurant. That's a little quick fact about me right here. But 2016, we went back up there. It was cold. It was a typhoon, literally. It was pouring down rain. We have videos on the Facebook page and stuff during that horrible experience because it was so freaking cold up there. The last time we did something as cold as that one, but I think this last time was worse when we went to the Independence Bowl because it was cold this past December when the Cajuns played against Houston. But I said all that because if they beat Arkansas State, hell would have froze over, basically. So I'm going with Arkansas State to beat ULM. All right. Marshall versus Coastal Carolina. Jalen, who you got in that game?
Yeah, I think Grayson McCall and Coastal Carolina are gonna get it going. They won 2 straight. I think they're gonna make it 3 straight as they take on Marshall.
Okay. All right. So Gradney, who you got, buddy?
I'm going with Coastal Carolina as well.
Well, Coastal Carolina. Look, I love Marshall's running game. Marshall's a very good running back, and Rasheen Ali, he's been a very good running back for them all year. Marshall's actually favored to win this game here by 4 points, but I'm agree with both of y'all. I think Coastal gets in there. They kind of want to run. They won the last 2 games, so give me Coastal. I think they'll be able to take care of business against Marshall. All right, in a pivotal Sun Belt West matchup here, Troy versus Texas State. Troy's favored by 5.5. Jalen, are you sticking with the points or what?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the points, even though Texas State is a really good team over there with TJ Finley, but I think Troy, defending Sun Belt champions, I think they have gonna come out and make a statement in San Marcos on Saturday. So I think Troy's gonna come in there and get the win.
All right, Gradney, who you got in that game?
I think I'm gonna go Troy as well.
Going with Troy as well. All right, let's see. So CJ Finley has been very good this year in the Sun Belt. 14 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, almost 2,000 yards of passing here. This is gonna be a big thing here. Like, here's the thing though. Troy has been in this situation before, and they know how to win the game. And I always said this before: you have to lose one to win one. So Texas State has not been in this kind of situation before. In the FBS since they joined the Sun Belt. They are doing a lot of firsts for their program this year. They're definitely trending in the right direction. I like what they're building over there. Using the transfer portal to shore up their weaknesses has really helped them a lot. So, but I don't think it's gonna be enough in this game. I think Troy does beat Texas State because Troy's been there before. They, like y'all both said, defending Sun Belt champions. Give me Troy to beat Texas State. All right, Old Dominion versus James Madison. Jalen, who you got in that game?
Well, that's a kind of an easy one for me. They're playing well. They're still undefeated. I'm going with James Madison to get their 8th straight win, and they're still leading the Sun Belt. So I'm gonna go with James Madison.
So the crazy thing about this is if James Madison actually goes undefeated this year, they can't play in a New Year's Six Bowl. That's been officially judged by the NCAA and all them other ones. So that's something interesting they're definitely gonna look at these move up rules for sure, especially James Madison. Who you got, Gradney?
Going with the undefeated James Madison.
Look, man, if this was a different opponent than Old Dominion, I think Old Dominion's doing a very good job this year. They're 3-1 so far. But McLeod for James Madison's been doing a very good job this year throwing the football. I think he
Indeed.
sets the tone. I got James Madison though, beating Old Dominion. I think they take care of it. All right, guys, we're gonna switch gears here real quick. We're gonna go talk some soccer. Louisiana Raging Cajuns soccer, that is. So the Cajuns are 6-8, and they have 2 ties. They lost last week, so against Troy, 1-0. But they're back at home on the 26th, and Thursday they play Marshall at home. Jalen, who you got in that game?
I'm gonna go with the Cajuns. It's been a kind of up and down year for the soccer team, but I think the Cajuns will be able to pull out a win against Marshall.
Who you got, Gradney?
I think the Cajuns are going to bounce back and get a win.
All right, that sounds very good. Both these teams are very at the bottom of their own divisions here. I'm gonna stick with y'all though. I do think Cajuns do get right the ship. I think they beat Marshall, and I think they'll continue, trying to get better. They're at the 10th seed in the tournament, so we'll see what happens here. Without further ado, let's switch over to volleyball because we got a lot of volleyball games. Kind of Fort Worth coming here. They play ULM. Or a lot of people don't like this. Some people like to say ULM isn't a rival. I think they're a rival of UL. Whatever, but they're an in-state rival. It's good for the sport. It's good for the schools, I think. So Jalen, who you got taking home the win?
Now, for anybody that says that's not a rivalry, I have to disagree. Like you said, Chief, I think it's one of the biggest in-state rivalries. And of course, I'm gonna go with the Cajuns. I think they're gonna get the win against ULM. It's crucial to get these wins at the end of crunch time, especially when we get down to Sun Belt play, which is a couple weeks away in November. So I think the Cajuns are gonna pull this one out.
They have 2 games. So you got them winning both, Jalen?
Yeah, I got them winning both games, and I actually are gonna have them splitting with a Southern Miss.
Okay. Bradley, who you got?
I think the Cajuns are going to pull off these wins. I think the rivalry is good for the state and it's also good for our economy. But I feel like the Cajuns are going to pull out the dubs.
All right, the place with the real gumbo is gonna win this game right here. And I'm gonna go with the Cajuns. I think the Cajuns are gonna win this one here, and they're gonna send ULM back to Southern Arkansas. All right, so that's basically all we have for this episode here today, guys. Anything else y'all want to add or anything here? But before we go into like detail about this here, I'm gonna pull up the standings here real quick here. For let's see, volleyball here. So as we look at the Sun Belt standings here, you have Coastal, James Madison leading the way in the East, and the West they have Troy and South Alabama, but Louisiana's sitting there in 4th. They're 3-5 in the conference. So you got in the division, 4-6 in the conference. And you're trying to get up there. You don't have that many games left, really. You're just trying to like get to it here. So these 2 wins against ULM would be huge. I think they win both of them. And Southern Miss, and you got App State, you got 2 games at App State. So you got 4 games after this series here. So you got the potential to win 6 games here, which would boost you up to 9-5 if you can get it going here. App State's 3-7 in conference, and you have a really good chance to finish strong here. And you got ULM, who hasn't won a single basically conference game this year. They only won 4 games in total. So I mean, it's easy to pick the Cajuns to sweep both of them. They lost 12 straight, so App State's lost their last two. So look, Cajuns are looking really good, I think, and we'll see what happens with that there. So is there anything else you want to add before we get off the air here, guys?
I want to say to everybody, check out the UL men's basketball team. They start play on Monday, October 30th, in the Cajun Dome against UT Tyler. Now, and then also can't forget about the UL women's basketball team. They start on November 6th, which is that next Monday at the Cajun Dome against Spring Hill College. So some more Cajuns basketball is back.
Defending Sunbelt champions men's basketball, that is conference. But Brad, anything else you want to say?
Not really. It's just been fun being on here.
All right. Well, in breaking news here today, softball team dropped the schedule. It's going to be a brutal non-conference schedule with games against Oklahoma and Texas and all that. So this is going to be some very good softball games coming up here, and Liberty as well. It's going to be on the non-conference as well in the tournaments. So it's going to be a very fun spring session here. Baseball dropped the inter-squad sessions here. So if you have a chance Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to check out the baseball team, if y'all will. And so we'll put this on all our social media channels, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We'll be on Spotify and all that. So should we have a lot? I think we covered a lot in like literally 30 minutes here. So thank y'all for tuning in here to the Fishbowl Radio. We hope you have a great, wonderful time. We'll see y'all next time here on the Fishbowl Radio.